I really should have put this out yesterday, but Ego Dynamics decided to drop the 2026 and beyond trailer right while I was stuck at work. Personally, where I live, the timing was not really ideal, but I was more than glad to watch it and probably have watched it more than 10 times already. By now, I'm sure most of you have seen the trailer maybe several times if you're like me. So instead of the usual frame-by-frame breakdown, I want to focus on what I personally believe to be the most crucial points. I'm looking at the modules and features that could actually bring a lot of changes to the sim. Before I start, a little disclaimer. I don't have an inside man at ED or any of the third-party devs, obviously. This is pure analysis based on what I saw and what I know about the current dev cycles. So please take my timelines and predictions with a heavy grain of salt. We all know what a few weeks actually could mean in this community. Now that's out of the way, let's get into it. First up, the Eurofighter. This was the clear star of the show. We saw the working cockpit in at least 2 distinct segments, and honestly, it looks much further along than I had anticipated. Now, we know True Grit and Heat Blur have been heads down on this for a while. Seeing the MFDs alive and the pilot interface functional is a massive milestone. Some might say a 2026 release is optimistic, but given how long it's been in the oven, I think we are looking at an early access launch sooner than later. The complexity of the Typhoon's flight control system and the DAS defensive aids subsystem is legendary. So I'm curious if Heat Blur is going to release it feature complete or if we'll be flying a bare bones interceptor for the first year. Either way, seeing it in the 2026 trailer confirms it's coming along nicely. Next, let's talk about the Mirage F1M. Finally. Urges has been pretty quiet lately, leading some people to wonder if the M variant had fallen off the priority list. For those who don't know, the M is the modernized Spanish version. The cockpit modeling looked essentially finished. We are talking about integrated GPS, new HUD electronics, and improved radar displays. It's a huge leap from the analog-only variants we've been flying. Given that the flight model for the F1 is already top tier, swapping in the modernized cockpit shouldn't take too long. I would be surprised if we aren't cold starting this bird by the end of the year. It's a win for the Blue Force Cold War fans. Then there is the Tornado. This is the one that gets my heart rate up. Seeing the swing wing silhouette in action is exhilarating. However, and here's where I'll be somewhat critical, we didn't see any footage of the working cockpit. Usually in ED's Beyond trailers, if there's no cockpit, the module is at least 18 to 24 months away. Aviastorm seems to have hit a significant milestone, but I think it's wise to be realistic. A complex multi-crew aircraft like the Tornado, with its terrain-following radar and specialized munitions, is a lot of work. It was great to see it in the trailer, but hold your horses. Now, for the Hilo fans, the BO-105. This project has felt like it was in development chaos for years. It's changed hands, gone quiet, and resurfaced more times than I can count. But seeing it in the trailer and looking as polished as it did is a huge relief. We haven't had a new high-fidelity light utility scout helicopter for some time now. I think it fills a very specific niche, especially for the South Atlantic or Syria maps. Seeing it alive and kicking is probably the biggest surprise of the video for me. It looks ready for the flight line. God, Heat Blur just doesn't stop. They showed off the F-14B upgrade, or the BU. For the Tomcat fans, this is the mid-90s, early 2000s variants with the Sparrowhawk heads-up display and some much-needed cockpit upgrades. I'll be honest here, I still struggle to land the standard B on a carrier without sweating through my pants, but I'm thrilled to see this. However, I'm wondering if it's going to be a free update for existing Tomcat owners or a paid upgrade. Heat Blur has been generous in this regard, but with the amount of work that goes into these systems, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a small upgrade fee. We'll have to wait and see. This is where things get interesting for the big picture of DCS. Did you notice the infantry animations? We saw troops throwing hand grenades, rifles that actually seem to have some recoil, and soldiers climbing into the Mi-24 Hind. This isn't just eye candy. Improved infantry logic is a must for a more dynamic battlefield. If ED is finally fixing the statue-like soldiers, it suggests that they are moving closer to viable first-person or combined arms overhaul. People always joke about DCS Orma, but with these animations and the progress on multi-threading dynamic campaign, we are seeing the foundation for a much more immersive ground game. It makes the logistics part of the sim actually feel realistic. For the Warbird fans, the Pacific assets were stunning. The level of detail on the warships, specifically the anti-aircraft batteries, looked insane. And that U-boat? That caught me off guard. Seeing a German submarine in a DCS trailer opens up a whole new world of maritime strike missions. I also caught a glimpse of what looked like the F6F Hellcat. If we are finally getting the Hellcat and the Marianas World War II map is finalized, the Pacific theater is going to be a complete game changer. My only concern for this is the damage model. ED has made strides, but for the Pacific to work, we need those massive carrier strikes to feel more visceral. Last but certainly not least, the Dynamic Campaign Engine, DCE. They showed a few glimpses of the UI and the strategic map. I cannot overstate how important this is. We've been living in a world of scripted missions for decades. If the Dynamic Campaign Engine is actually close to an initial release, even in beta state, it solves the biggest problem in DCS, the lack of a living world. However, let's be realistic here. A dynamic campaign is arguably the most complex thing you can build in a sim. It has to manage AI logic, resource management, and performance across the whole map. While I'm thrilled to see progress, I'm expecting a very rocky early access launch, where things might be a bit broken for a while. But hey, it's finally happening. There was so much more. The F-104 Starfighter, the F-100 Super Sabre, the Li-7, and that brief, gorgeous-looking shot of the Rafale at the very end. To be realistic, most of those external-only shots are likely several years away. They are beyond modules. But the fact that they are even on the roadmap shows that DCS is only getting bigger. That's my take on 2026 and beyond. I'm hyped. I'm a little skeptical about the timelines, but mostly just ready to get back into the cockpit. I'm pretty sure I missed something here and there. There's always something hidden in the background of these trailers. Have you found any? Are you betting on a 2026 Eurofighter release, or are you holding out for the dynamic campaign? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed my analysis, do me a huge favor. Hit the like and subscribe. It really helps the channel keep growing. Thanks for watching, fly safe, and I'll see you in the skies.